been our biggest supporters.
Yeah. Are you already streaming?
Yeah, I just went live.
Cool. Yeah, this thing is taking forever. Am I dead or what?
I suppose you'll probably have to look up what that means afterwards too,
Yeah,
right?
I will, 'cause I don't know what this shit means. I don't even understand how blood pressure works. Really don't.
You just don't get it.
Yep.
You just don't understand.
And also, who knows how truly accurate this is.
Oh, I think that's kind of a legit piece of equipment. My mom said that she wanted to get her own because she was tired of having to ask like people at the hospital for them.
Mm.
So I think that's the same one that she uses. I believe that means it be legit.
You know, I've always had really good blood pressure.
Yeah.
Like, anytime it's ever been checked, they're like, it's literally textbook perfect.
Well, it's just the story of you in general.
Hmm.
You don't like that? You don't like when I say corny stuff?
You're funny.
Oh man, it's looking unsteady.
Our stream the other night looked like shit.
Did it?
Yeah, it was really choppy. Which I was like, oh, maybe it's the internet right now. No, it was bad. Do you want me to pull it up online? See how it looks.
Yeah, it's showing it's pretty unstable.
I wonder why.
Don't know. I mean, sometimes it starts out pretty unstable.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could turn the bitrate down again. Let me take a look at what it's at right now. It probably doesn't help that we're back to using the computer. This computer, I mean.
Do you want to use this one?
Oh, that's fine. I guess I could turn the bitrate down again. It looks like it's evening out, though. I think we'll leave it for now. Alright, it's been like 2 weeks since I looked at you.
It seems like okay now.
Alright. Alright. I don't even remember how to play the game at this point. Alright, I had gotten myself into this situation and was like, what do I do? I'm a wanted man, Jube. I'm an outlaw. Should go back to using my pirate voice.
Yeah.
Where's my horse at? Whoa. Yes. Oh, I named my horse Earl.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Why not Luna?
I think it's a man. It's a boy horse. I'm not gonna name my horse Luna if it's got penis.
I guess Earl is kind of a good horse name.
My horse Earl and I.
Well, it's been at about 96 this whole time. It's not. I figured it was gonna beep.
Like it was gonna beep or something and tell you it was done.
Yes.
So is that good? Now you gotta look that up, right? Oh boy!
Wait, you trying to run away from those dudes?
Shit. And I'm dead. Shot me while I was down on the ground. Holy crap. Jeez. I feel like you actually have to be more cautious in this one than the other ones. It's like you run into like 7, 8 guys or something. It's like, ah, I'm dead. Keep freaking dying on my way over there.
So it says it's like right above normal.
Okay.
Right on the cusp.
Well, I guess you're fine.
I'm gonna die. Just kidding.
You don't die, Annie? Damn.
It would have been interesting to actually have been like gone to the doctor, you know? But whatever. So I've straight up never watched this game before.
No, you're straight up watching it now.
Straight up. What year is this?
I think it takes place in like 1890 or something, or 1885. I don't know. You could look it up. It's actually a prequel to the first Red Dead Redemption game.
Oh.
Yeah. And
So
it
you're a different guy?
Yeah, I'm a different guy, but the original guy's in it.
Oh. Is he a bad guy?
I mean, he's an outlaw. He's in my gang.
Oh, cool.
I don't know the story of this guy, and I've kind of forgotten a lot of the story from the first game.
So this guy is older than the other guy, I'm assuming?
He might be a little older, yeah. It's funny because, like, in the first, hold on, I gotta bring up that chat. Mr. Too Good to Watch,
Ooh.
Mr. B stream.
He was napping, to be fair.
I was exhausted and fell asleep. Co-op 2 Live was there in spirit, even when it's just one of us.
Jake rarely feels unwell, and he was like, I feel like shit. Bitch, go to sleep. Like, it's time.
Well, whenever I wake up in the middle of it, like, this always happens when I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap just to refresh myself.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Well, I thought you were gonna wake me up too, because I think I set my alarm for 15 minutes, but of course, you know, I must have turned off my alarm subconsciously.
Well, and I had a couple phone calls at the end of the day, so.
And what happened was I ended up sleeping for an hour, and you know, that could not be interrupted.
It's okay.
What the F? Where is this taking me? Oh, I guess did I go across the wrong side of that bridge, I guess? I don't know. Whatever. How many people were watching?
2.
Cool.
It was good. It was a good stream.
Getting more than me. I've been doing this for years.
You're welcome. It was fun. The game looks fun.
Dark Souls is like infamous for being a pain in the ass.
watching him take on this dragon. It's called a gaping dragon, by the way, which is, I know, it's an unsettling
Sounds
word.
like my,
Whatever. And, that thing looked like impossible. It looks like it'd be definitely the kind of game where if you're not very good at video games, you're not going to be successful in it.
yeah, it's definitely like, it's like hardcore. It's like a hardcore game and
Yeah.
not forgiving, and
No.
it's old school in terms
It's
of
not
like
for noobs.
dodging and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny that people forget that it's like, yeah, you remember like old school games where you had to like play through the whole level,
Mm-hmm.
then get to the hard part, and then if you failed at the hard part, you had to go all the
gotta
way to the
start
beginning
over.
again. It's like, yeah, that sucks.
Yep. Yep.
I think you forget how much that truly,
Look at all those horses.
truly sucks. Am I there? It truly, truly, truly sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played this game in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, Andrew, I think you should play Stardew Valley on Monday. Or whatever day you're gonna stream when we're not streaming, so I can watch.
You want to check it out?
Why? I mean, I like games like that are very low key. I feel like you can have the best conversations during those games.
Yeah.
Tuesday, cool. Tuesday works then. I will watch. Yeah, but I thought Stardew Valley looked fun, and it seems funny, you know? Sometimes it's also hard with the really serious games like Dark Souls, where it's like, I don't know, I feel like people watch that game not to talk with a streamer, possibly, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think games like Dark Souls, the weirdest thing to me about some of the streaming is like, people play these really hardcore games where it's like you can't even take your eyes off of it.
That's what I mean, you know?
And, you know, it's like,
Oh yeah, and we were talking about the debate team, how it could be kind of problematic at times. Didn't name names or anything, just... I think debate sometimes attracts a certain type of person.
well, I think, like, I mean, there are things that are problematic about... Well, there's a couple things that are problematic. I mean, there's one aspect of it where it's like, men at a certain age are always problematic. Because, I don't know, they just think it's cool to do, like, risky shit.
To be
And
edgy,
people
yeah.
who don't like to get on dirt bikes and, like, fly over corners or something like that, they like to say edgy shit, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yes.
They
They
like
want to
to-
make people uncomfortable, they want to be funny.
yeah, they want to be funny, they want to get approval from their
And they think
peer
that they're
group.
right.
And they think, yeah, and they also, men at that age, think they're right about everything.
Well, they know how to argue. So, you know, which I am so not interested in actually debating people. I don't care.
Well, the thing that, after all these years, that I don't think I really appreciated about debate so much at the time was the fact that all the people who, like, judge debate, they're not, like, philosophy people. They're communications people.
Mhm.
They're not people who, like,
Yeah.
they're literally there, like, looking at style, looking at the crap, like, the ways in which you signify if you're right or wrong.
Yes.
They don't care, like, it's like, oh, this guy made an argument that was really, really good and original or anything like that. It's like, well, this guy, you know, didn't address this point and didn't address this point, so I guess he's wrong on those 2 points, you know? It had nothing to do with,
Like the word of the day for me is performative. That's the thing. It's performative. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not about substance.
it's not about depth. It was never about
No.
depth or anything like that. What the hell? I
Which
was
leads
supposed
to a lot
come
of
here.
BS arguments, and I mean a lot of dudes that play devil's advocate, which to me is, I'm sorry, 9 times out of 10 those guys are just being dicks.
Yeah.
They just want to be, or they are actually speaking the truth, but they're not brave enough to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
AKA racism. So, or sexism, or something like that.
Yeah. No.
How often does devil's advocate ever argue for a good thing? You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think that. Well, a lot of times I don't. That guy was like sitting totally wrong. A lot of times, like, I don't say like devil's advocate, but I do think like those kind of like petty hypotheticals people throw out there.
They drive me nuts.
Yeah.
They drive me absolutely nuts because they're just so, like, the slippery slope bullshit. I'm
Yeah.
like, just stop. Because again, I think the other reason why I don't like debate is because people aren't actually interested in having a conversation with you. It's about dominating you and showing that you're wrong.
Yeah.
And they're not listening to you.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's just not, that's not productive.
There's not actually any acknowledgement of the point that's being made. You're just supposed to like blow right past it because again, with the way the it's communications people, not philosophy people, where it's like, you know, it's the same reason why Trump was seen as being so successful is because he literally, when he's talking about other things, he like, there is absolutely, because people, this is something I noticed when you're talking about like simpletons. You know, simpletons is like, they don't, like lots of people don't actually know anything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know anything. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever noticed this, but one thing I've noticed is that when you're arguing with somebody who doesn't know anything, they're waiting on you to give them evidence to contest.
Oh, yeah.
And this has happened to me a couple times where you're like talking about da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like I had an argument, and it was about like, you know, like Abraham Lincoln or whatever, and they're, you know, talking about Confederate history and how it's our history and we need to whatever. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, well, you know, they were fighting against tyranny of the. I'm like, yeah, those states seceded before Lincoln was even president.
Yeah.
And the only thing that he said, like, was like, slavery shouldn't expand or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a political opinion that was common at the time. And, you know, the southern states were so triggered by that. And finally, and he was like, "Oh well, you just said that he was saying stuff." Like, he doesn't know any of the history of it.
Yes, he's just latching on to.
He's just latching on to anything that
fact.
I say to be realistic, and he's like, "Oh well, you're just, you know." And Trump was so successful because like people don't actually know anything.
Mm-hmm.
They just know all the signifiers of quote being right. So you see somebody like Trump who literally gives no consideration to anything that anyone else is saying
or truth at all. Yeah.
Well, they do have a prior view that they look to validate, but I don't think that's really it. I think it has more to do with latching on to a person who, it's like, I mean, it's kind of similar to like religion in a way, is it's like they see strength not in the fact that something has been well considered or whatever. It's about like, this thing never changes. This thing is always right. Because it never acknowledges that it could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's got all the answers. I'm not going to listen to some gay-ass scientist who's always like, oh, well, you know, actually, you know, we thought it was this way, but it turns out it's this way. Or like, oh, well, then why did you ever think it was the first way in the first place? That's so stupid. Don't you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, to them, that's like weakness. That's them being wrong. And they're like, oh, well, religion never does that. You know, and, you know, Trump never does that. It's like, he must be right about everything.
Well, not to mention the fact that, you know, he's the perfect foil to somebody like Hillary Clinton, who seems like a nag. She seems like, you know, a shrill, serious woman, blah, 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 where Trump just gets to bypass anything she actually said and just, you know, latch onto one stupid thing, shut up, and say something like, well, I'm going to put you in jail. I'm going to put you in prison, you know, and people who don't know what she's saying hear that, and they're like, yeah, that's right. He clearly won, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so dumb.
Yeah, and people look to the signifiers because they don't understand anything else. It's like,
No.
oh, well, Trump got a good dig in. He got a good insult in. And this, and it's really funny because, I mean, this is literally, there's like a philosophical dialogue around sophistry. I forget which one it is, but it's like Socrates gets into a debate, and that's what they're relying on is like little quips and like kind of being like you're stupid and like
Yeah.
deliberately misconstruing,
stand
deliberately misinterpreting what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it's like an entire thing where he's like going against these two guys who are basically, they call them the sophists, but they're the guys who rely on rhetorical tricks and whoever can argue the best.
Flim-flam men.
Yeah, but it's,
Which I can't stand any of that stuff.
I forget which one it is, but it's one of the earlier ones, like the Euthyphro or something like that, where it's like he gets into this, battle, and the reason I think it's like significant,
Run away.
it's significant like that is because it's like it's like the eternal, it's the eternal struggle. It's like, oh, there's always people who are just like grifters, and they're like, oh, well, this is just all about me, having power over you,
or just trying to get ahead, which is why any of the debates that we do have for elections are completely pointless. The most effective thing you're going to have is, unfortunately, kind of like what Bernie Sanders did when he went on Joe Rogan. I mean, something where you actually get to just talk for like 2 hours and explain your positions instead of just trying to get a dig in there.
Yes.
And trying to,
Yes, trying to get a dig.
land a punch. Who gets to have the quippy thing that's going to be quoted on the news and on Twitter? Like
Which
that shit makes me crazy.
To be perfectly honest, I am still baffled at how bad Democrats are.
They're the worst.
At arguing things.
Oh my God,
it's
they're so
unbelievable.
bad.
And even people online who you'd think would like know better, but it's like it's not that hard to win these arguments or to gain ground on these I mean, I know with all the conservative people I know, I feel like I've made progress where anybody I've ever had conversations with who's conservative, who's not, just,
Yeah.
just a shithead.
Yeah.
I feel like I've made progress with every person that is conservative that I've ever known, even though they're probably still Republicans or still conservative or whatever.
They may understand you a little more.
Yeah, well, they may understand it, and they may not be like, well, I guess socialists aren't evil after all, which is a lot of progress since they're talking about killing them right now.
It is a lot of progress.
That's
how far gone we are.
Yeah. God, this thing is still unstable.